Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Battles to the Rhine. This is an expansion for the Heroes of Normandy game, and it is designed by Devin Heinley and published by Lock and Load Publishing. This is the next in a long line of expansions for the Heroes of Normandy. That game should be renamed Heroes of the West Front, in my opinion, because it starts at Normandy, but these expansions have just taken it further out from the landing beaches in France. You've got Noville Baston's Outpost, We Stand Alone, The Battles of Easy Company, and the Untold Stories Volume 1, as well as Battles to the Rhine. And there are some assorted scenarios sprinkled throughout the compendiums that are available through Lock and Load Publishing as well. This comes in a Ziploc because it is just an expansion. It doesn't need its own box, although now with these expansions, I think you need a separate box, and you can check out my video on the ammo crates from Lock and Load Publishing on how you can carry your spillover from the Heroes of Normandy game into those as well. But there's no box, but we can read the back of the rulebook to see what this expansion is all about. After the breakout from the Normandy beachhead, the German army was on their back foot. The war was now going against them, and Allied forces were advancing every day. However, the Germans were unwilling to roll over, and still put up a fight wherever they could. At Villers-Bocage, where the German tank ace Captain Wittmann forced the British to pay a heavy price for every Bocage line they captured, to the dogged fighting around Carentan and the rapid encirclement of the Falaise Gap. Through the bloody fighting of Operation Market Garden, to attempting to break the Maginot Line and the winter hell that was Bastogne, the Allies would still have a hard fight on their hands as they fought the battles to the Rhine. Battles to the Rhine is an expansion module for Heroes of Normandy. Fight 9 new scenarios with 5 maps based off of maps from Heroes of Normandy, including 3 new snow maps to reflect the cold and bitter fighting outside of Bastogne in December of 1944. 3 scenarios focus on British-Canadian forces and 3 scenarios focus on American forces, including a new half-inch countersheet of American and British infantry forces involved in these fights. We have also included new rules and counters that allow vehicles to use smoke and white phosphorus shells, allowing tanks to have a greater impact on the battlefield and opening new tactical possibilities for attacking and on the defense. And it says, of course, that you need Heroes of Normandy to use Battles on the Rhine, and we have an example of the counters and the new maps, and the complexity is 5 out of 10. Solitaire suitability is 10 out of 10 with the solo module, or you can just play both sides by yourself. Inside, you get a scenario and module rules booklet, 9 scenarios, 5 standard maps, 5 X maps, and 1 player aid. So let's set up the maps and take a closer look at all the components. Now we'll take a look at the 5 standard maps that come with the game. You have 3 with snow and 2 without. You also will get, alongside the 5 standard maps, you get the same maps in X map size, which are fantastic. As you can see, you take this standard map here, which is small, easy to get on the table, small footprint, and then you can use the X map, which you can see the comparison in size is much bigger. And this makes it easier to put multiple counters in each hex, and also just easier to see for us with older eyes. You know, you can still see here and it looks fine, but it's great if you have a small gaming space. This is perfect. But if you've got a little extra space and you can put a couple of these maps side by side, I strongly recommend going with the X maps, because X maps are the best way to play Lock and Load Tactical. Now we'll take a look at the counters that come with the expansion. On the top we have US forces and US leaders, and at the bottom we have British forces and British leaders. In the middle there we have the one German leader, and that is Captain Wittmann. And we also have these white phosphorus and smoke rounds. And the new rules for smoke here in this expansion are going to be, you take these counters and you put them into a pool. And after you resolve your fire procedure, you're going to have to roll on a depletion table. And you're going to try to stay above the depletion number. If you don't, you're going to remove that counter from the pool permanently. And if it does pass, then it just stays in the pool. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in these new scenarios. Now we'll take a look at the module book that comes with the expansion. This is a 44-page full color book. Inside the front cover you have the table of contents, which will give you a listing of all the rules as well as all the scenarios and their page numbers, so you can easily access them. Then we have the introduction, community and support, the national characteristics of the American forces, the British Commonwealth, rifle squad reduction, and then the German forces. Then we get into the nationality smoke shells, which we've talked about using those, and the depletion based on your rolls. Then you have white phosphorus, the snow maps. Then we get to the scenarios on page 8 with urban hide and seek, Villers-Bocage, bloodstained Bocage, then birthday present, Saint-Denis-le-Gast in France in July 15th, 1944. Into the Tiger's Den, Saint-Lambert-sur-Dive in France, August 1944. And Capture or Elst in Elst, Holland. Pretty clever play on words. Aachen, Bloody Aachen. Cowboy Up. Christmas Day Flurry. The Mad Minute. And then we get to the credits. And then we have the combat tables, so that way you'll have easy reference on those if you need them here in the scenario book. Melee tables, your reference tables, all the tables you'll need, outline of play, and then the breakdown, the unit point cost tables for each of the counters that you'll find in this expansion, and then we are at the back of the module book. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Battles to the Rhine. This is an expansion for the lock and load tactical game, Heroes of Normandy, and is designed by Devin Heinley and published by Lock and Load Publishing. As I said before, if you've got Heroes of Normandy, that game has the biggest bang for the buck when it comes to expansions. There are multiple expansions, and it really should be no longer named Heroes of Normandy. It should be renamed Heroes of the West Front, because you're literally landing at Normandy and you're just going all the way through from there on. And that's fantastic. If you love the West Front, that is the game, the base game to get, and then all the expansions will just give you many more scenarios to explore. And this is the latest in the line. Love the fact that you get the standard maps as well as the X maps. These X maps are fantastic. It allows you to see everything a lot easier because you can lay out your counters side by side. You don't have to have these killer stacks on these smaller boards. Now, some people, size is a big concern because you have a smaller table. Well, you can still use these, that's fine. But just remember, you're gonna have stacks. Here, it cuts the stacks down considerably. That's why the X maps are definitely the way to go. And generally, these games don't have like 8 or 9 maps connected to them. They've got 1, 2, 3 maps on average. Sometimes they may be a little bit bigger, but not always. So this is not gonna take up a considerable amount of space. 9 extra scenarios, some extra new rules with the smoke, which I'm curious to see how it plays out. You got some new counters and some new rules. So interesting to see how they're all going to play in concert with the base game system. And that's something that I love. Lock and Load tactical system. It is a great tactical system, and it's a game I haven't played in a while. So I need to refresh my memory on how to play the game because it's been too long since I last played. And looking forward to getting this one on the table and checking it out. And I got to say, Sean, love your face on the cover. It looks great, man. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.